To seek recognition.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 4, printed in Part B of House Report number 115-3, offered by Mr. Conaway of Texas.
Pursuant to a House resolution, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Conaway, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The amendment offered today will clarify amendments made to the Commodity Exchange Act by Dodd-Frank and will require the CFTC to actually determine that position limits will in fact help reduce excessive speculation before they implement those new rules. This past fall, my colleagues and I all ran for re-election, promising to reduce government regulation and eliminate rules that needlessly burden the economy. As we consider the CFTC's ongoing work, we should look no further than the position limits rulemaking began that task. Position limits are a tool that have merit and purpose in regulating commodities market. Today, Designated Contract Markets Core Principle 5 requires every U.S. exchange to impose, as is necessary and appropriate, position limits or position accountability levels on the contracts they offer. Further, there are several agricultural contracts that have long established and well understood federally mandated position limits. My amendment will not change any of those existing position limits regime. Prior to Dodd-Frank, the law was clear. If the Commission wanted to impose position limits, it first had to make a determination that such limits would, in fact, diminish, eliminate, or prevent the burdens of excess speculation. Post-Dodd-Frank, the courts have ruled that additions to the statute have rendered it ambiguous. Chairman Masada and I have disagreed for the past 3 years about how to read the statute. So today, my amendment fixes the ambiguity by affirmatively requiring the Commission to determine that position limits will, in fact, reduce the burdens of excessive speculation before they put them in place. It's important that the Commission affirmatively determine the need for position limits because limits are an unmistakable burden on market participants. Current position limits proposal would cost market participants substantially in time and money to comply with. Most importantly, it fundamentally changes the way hedgers can seek relief from those rules. Agricultural producers and processors, power companies, and other commercial hedgers may have fewer bona fide hedges. What's more, they might get to a hedge exemption only to get a call from Washington telling them their hedge is invalid and they must liquidate that position. The proposal also imposes new record-keeping and reporting obligations on futures commissions merchants, exchanges, and market participants. Less well understood, but no less important, is the impact that position limits in later months might have on market liquidity. Position limits do not have anything to do with long-term price of commodities. The price of oil, no matter how high it climbs or how low it falls, is driven by supply and demand. Congress itself recognizes this characteristic that this, when characterized the burdens of excessive speculation as the sudden and unreasonable fluctuations or unwarranted changes in the price of a commodity. There's nothing sudden about a years-long run-up or a years-long decline in commodity prices. That said, I agree there is in fact a role for position limits to play in the management of our commodity markets, especially in managing the convergence of prices at the expiration of a contract. But limits are a regulatory tool to promote orderly markets, not a silver bullet to lower commodity prices for consumers. As a tool, they need to be calibrated to the unique characteristics and historical patterns of each commodity. We cannot impose them in blind faith that more regulation automatically improves markets. My amendment is agnostic about the merits of position limits, but it is clear about the need for the government to justify its rules that restrict economic activity. As this Congress sets about reducing regulatory burdens, it's important that we start by requiring the CFTC to make a determination about the need for further regulations before they act. And I reserve.